a great way to start off the morning. Man, I'm just cruising in Minnesota, and the second I pass a cop, he backs up and comes onto my side of the highway, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I'm just cruising. I saw him pull out and everything, and it turns out he pulled over a car behind me a while back. I just watched it in my rear view. I'm like, well, we avoided that occurrence. So I wasn't gonna start the video until it was time to drop the plane. We're going to drop a plane, finally. We're about 2 hours and 20 minutes away. Can't wait to get that off my truck, because then we can go drop in South Dakota, and then we got 2 of them coming back to New Jersey, Maryland area. I can go home, finally. Over here, I don't see any customers, and this isn't a really big, busy area. I think I'm gonna end up trying to, there's a spot up there. I might be able to Yui it, but I think I'm gonna do that because I think I missed it. We're supposed to be right in there, which is there's a street back there. So I'm gonna make this Yui quick. Figure there's cops everywhere. I just did a illegal U-turn in like front of 3 of them, so I pulled into this parking lot. So I think we're gonna go back down the road. We should be all right. All right, there she is. Let's get her unstrapped. Damn driveway at Chris's. Jeez, this thing got caked. It's Chris's fault. Said pull in with it. Oh well, it'll be all right. Well, no more plane. Now we just got a car. We'll go drop that off. We got 2 loads booked. Let's go make some money. I'm gonna mention this now because we're on the everybody's on the opposite side of the fence. So I know I said I was gonna paint the bumper. I did try that rubberized undercoating stuff. I'm like, nah, I don't really want to do that. After seeing other people's with theirs gloss black, I found a guy. So on the 19th, when I go back, we're gonna be sandblasting the bumper, get everything clean, and then he's gonna powder coat it black. We're gonna have a nice black front bumper, finally. And we're gonna get rid of the hideous snorkel, and it's only gonna be a moderately hideous snorkel, so no more air filter on the top. I finally got a new air filter too. That one, I feel like that's why the truck has been smoking a lot more. All right, it's been a hot minute, been driving all day. I went to Walmart. So I'm like, we're gonna start messing with the AC, right? So I got everything on yesterday's video. Obviously, still don't have AC because I didn't charge it. So I'm like, all right, watched a Chris Fix video. You know, he does some good stuff. Now I'm an AC expert, right? So I went through and obviously the compressor wasn't gonna kick on because there's nothing in it, okay? The pressure's too low. So I went and I started putting that stuff in. I shook the can and, you know, do the whole 9 yards. And it got to the point where it went into the red zone, like it without the compressor kicking on, it will. So it went into the red zone, which is the see instructions, okay? So I looked and the compressor's not kicking on, right? I'm like, all right, whatever. So now we're trying to figure out some things as to why it's not kicking on, because it definitely worked before. I cleaned the connector to the compressor. Now I'm gonna check, I guess there's a plug in the line, and then there's also a fuse. I'm gonna check those 2 things as well. Also, question for you guys. How many of you guys are fabricators? Down in the comments. If you guys watch the Skid Factory on YouTube, they just did a Cummins, 12-valve Cummins in, I can't remember what it was. And they made a intake box for it. And I kind of like that. So if any of you guys think that you can make me one of those that'll utilize a factory filter, let me know, and I will totally want to meet up, and let me know how much you want, because I want to connect that snorkel to that so that I can have an aluminum or a steel intake box as over the factory one. All right, that's pretty dang nice right here. You get a little bit of a breeze, not too hot. It was 95 earlier, it's like 80 something now. But I get annoyed with these straps. I don't know why. On this car specifically, they keep loosening up. No idea what's going on with that. I've never had that happen. So I finally found a place that I could actually pull off at. So I want to check. I was getting on the forums and seeing, you know, what could be the issue. these. So the specs at 90 degrees was in between 30 and 40 psi. So I was like, all right, cool. So I filled it, and as you can see, if the compressor's off, this is just going to build pressure. So in the red, you can see it says see instructions. So it's just going to build pressure. It's not like it's going to, you know, do anything on the blue side. So it will not kick on. So apparently this truck there's no relay, but there's a fuse and then there's a sensor in the line. So I need to check both of those things, which isn't too hard. I hope nobody stops and thinks I'm breaking down. But let's see, air conditioning. Let's see if I can figure this out. It's this guy right here, so I just swapped it. See if it works. All right, I've gone over everything, and if the GoPro doesn't die, which it probably will, you guys can see the compressor actually spins. Look at that. See? So the compressor itself spins, so it's not locked up like I was originally thinking. But this compressor is good. It worked before until it fell off. I cannot get it. I checked the sensor, I cleaned the wiring, I cleaned the wiring for the compressor itself, not just the sensor. I've replaced the fuse, I've replaced the relay, checked the pressures. No idea. Well, we're still AC-less, unfortunately. Checked. Fuse is good. Relay is good. Wiring is good. Wiring has been checked. No power is being sent to the compressor. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but we don't have AC. So, and in these trucks, the ECU controls when it's supposed to be on and when not. So I have no idea. I know there's a sensor down in there. I checked the wiring to it. Everything's good now, so I have no idea. All right, so in another attempt, I decided, after we went over everything, I decided that I'm gonna get on Facebook and get on the forums and decide to check over certain things. So somebody had mentioned, this is in the service manual, by the way, so you can take pin 85 on your relay and ground it, which is basically what the ECU does. But you can ground it and figure out which one it is. So this guy here, 85 would be this top one on the right. So we're gonna ground that while it's running, and that should cause the compressor to kick on. And by it kicking on, that tells me that, okay, the wiring, everything is good. Now we have another issue. So now we're gonna go down the list. That was what someone said to check. Someone said I could have a bad ECU, which, yeah, I could see that. I hope not, but it could happen. All right, let's see. That doesn't sound promising. Nope, still not spinning. I had somebody stop and try to figure it out too. We couldn't figure out anything. Wow, it's getting dark out. I have to take these off for once. But all right, let's get over to that. There's a Love's. He's not gonna let me drop tonight. I really wanted to drop tonight, but I was like, I was gonna be there too late. So I'm like, let me just stop every now and again and try to figure out this AC. Still no AC. I went through, there's the service manual, there's 5 steps to do. I went through and did the first 4. I couldn't do the 5th one because I don't know which wire on the ECU that I'm supposed to be looking at. We'll figure it out, get it. It's weird out here. If you're stopped with your hood up, people actually will stop and try to help you. Whereas if you're in California, everybody will tell you to go f yourself. It's a good time. People are nice out here. Don't get me wrong. I prefer them not stop, but you know, it is nice that people do that, especially for other people who don't know what they're doing. You break down, somebody will stop and help you out. I even had a tow truck stop earlier. That's pretty neat. These are good people out here. So I desperately need to get a new air filter, like terribly. So this thing was like running hot, high EGTs and whatnot, so I ended up just getting rid of the, there's the filter down there. So I took it off. For some reason my coolant temp went way up. I forgot to top it off yesterday. And I don't see any leaks. That was a terrible That was a terrible idea. Let's turn it off. That was an awful idea. Doing that while it was running with no air filter on it. That son of a bitch was hot. Listen to that. That was absolutely a terrible idea. Oh man, but it needed to be done because the second I did that, the coolant tech dropped from like 221. Immediately dropped a bunch of, let's see, what's it sitting at? 208. Yeah, so it dropped. So guess I need to put water in it, huh? By the way, I don't recommend running straight water in your cooling system, but I kind of have to because I don't feel like dealing with buying coolant every other day. So I think I've gotten all the coolant leaks out now. But when I can verify that, then I'm gonna do an actual coolant flush. So let's see how many gallons of water. All right, we got that fixed. Probably sounds kind of neat without the filter on it. It's unfiltered turbo noises. So I can tell you that an air filter absolutely makes a difference. Just taking that off because of how clogged it is. My EGTs went from 1450 down to 1150 climbing hills. That is insanely, that's terrible. That's insane. Well, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next video. Have a good one, safe travels, don't do anything crazy. See ya.